Well, the audio is actually recording this time. Take two, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to record my whole thing that I did for this without audio, so I'm doing it again. Hi everyone, my name is Infina and welcome to my video. This is my second take, so it may be a little bit speedier than I did before, but today we are doing my museum area. I'm really excited to do my museum area. When I started this, I was so excited. I was so excited to see what happens, and I think it turned out great, so enjoy this terraforming part. Hopefully you guys get some inspiration from it, and let's just jump into it, shall we? One major change for this build that I did before I even properly started getting into it, when I was actually putting this base down, was figuring out where I wanted my museum to go. And that might sound a bit weird. This is your museum area. This is where you wanted it to go, right? Not exactly. At first, I wanted it to be situated a lot further back on the actual base layer of the island. And then I decided I don't want that. So I changed it. I decided to put it up a layer, and then I wanted my campsite to go behind. And then I decided I don't want that either, because I feel like it's going to be a bit too cramped. I don't think it's going to go with the vibe that I want. So I still did make a second layer on top of the first layer that I made, but I decided it to be primarily a museum area. These Japanese gates as well, oh my gosh, putting the inspiration on the screen, because the person that designed this and put them there as a inspirational piece on Instagram is just absolutely amazing. Inspired, in my opinion, because I think it really adds a nice bit of vertical texture to my island and really ties together, in my opinion, for some reason, the water that I put around. It kind of adds as a bridge piece to then the other piece of water on the other side of my museum. And when it comes to waterscaping, I have such a difficult time with it, but I think I did quite a good job with this one. I think I did quite a good job of figuring out where I wanted the water to go, where I wanted it to start. I did do a little bit of changing a bit later on because the gates didn't fit for some reason, but making it, I was just very, very happy with the waterscaping that I did. And with a build like this, or a theme, should I say, like this, waterscaping is very, very important for this island. And being able to make it in my own way, and it feels quite natural to me, it takes the cake. It makes me happy. Also, for this build, and for any builds that I do, anything that is mossy covered is just, it makes my heart so warm, because it fits perfectly with what I'm wanting to do. It fits perfectly with the swampiness, with the patterns that I've got, with the waterscaping that I'm doing, with the variety of the trees and the bamboo that I'm using. It just makes everything so yummy, so nice, so magical in a way, you could say. You'll also notice that I do a lot of this terraforming, adding these Zen stones in. You might be thinking, Zen stones, aren't they gravestones at the end of the day? Yes, and from the inspirational image that I'll pop back up on screen, I really loved how they incorporated these gravestones into this area. It makes me think that people are here to experience the culture and remember their elders or anybody that's passed, and it adds a bit of more warmth to this area rather than just being, it's a place for the museum. It's a place of culture now, it's a place of wonder, it's a place of loving memories, you could say. Also, you'll notice in this area I start to add like this bridge type design to it, and I really love this bridge design until I got to the lower part of the bridge, because you have the top bit and you have the lower bit. Not lower bit, but you know what I mean. And I didn't really like how the two patterns match together, because they're not the same pattern, they're not from the same like batch of patterns. So instead I decided to get one of the little froggy snacks and stick it over that gap, and I went, you know what, that works, because it makes it look like the gap has almost dissolved. It's still there, but you can't really see it anymore because it's almost taken away by the little froggy snack being there. As well, for this theme, I adore terraforming at night. Terraforming at night really adds to the vibe that I want this island to have at the end of the day. I want to save this island in the season that I'm in. I want to save it at a certain time. I want to save it at night. I want to save it when there's fireflies going around, and I want to save it when it's raining, because I feel like that all works really well. It marries together for the theme that I'm going for. It's swampy at the end of the day, so you need it to be a little bit grungy, but with all the stuff that's happening, the fireflies being there, the time of day that it is, it adds a nice bit of wonder, a nice bit of spirituality. Also, this little fish in the pond makes me very happy. I'm very happy that it decided to put its home here while I was terraforming, and I didn't manage to scare it away. Can I also say, I feel like Froggy Crossing, Raven, my girl, the queen of Animal Crossing, will appreciate the amount of frogs that I'm going to be using on this island, because this is just going to be frog heaven. There are going to be so many frogs. It's a swamp at the end of the day. There's swamps, there's lily pads, there's just lovely, yummy frogginess, and I think that she'll appreciate it. Now, once I was happy with the placement of these gates, I decided to take them all down again and add my paths that I wanted to be there. And what I was quite happy with these paths is I decided to go for a little bit more organic and overgrown. I don't want them all connecting. I don't want it to be a specific, this is where it goes. So I decided to kind of section them off. There was like a bit here and a bit there and a bit there, and they all could flow into each other, but I didn't want it to be explicitly, this is where you go. I wanted it to be kind of, you can go kind of around here if you want. You also don't have to. One thing that is quite different to the other builds that I've done with this one is the lack of trees, you could say. There's quite a lot of trees on one side of it, but then in front of my museum, there's not that many trees, at least the many trees that I expected that I was using. I thought I was going to use so many more, and then I looked back and went, I don't need this many trees, so I took them all out, and also you don't see that bit because it's just me digging up trees. So I'm happy with the vertical height that I decided to add in. I'm happy that it adds that vertical height, that vertical texture, and that it isn't really overwhelming. We've got the bamboo trees around the front of it, we've got the trees around the sides of it, and then there were just a few trees situated in between, and I thought that it tied everything together quite nicely. It does block your immediate view of the museum, but I didn't want it to be a explicit, this is the museum, this is where it is. I wanted it to be able to marry into everything else that I'm going to do on my island at the end of the day. Can I also say I apologise to anybody that I may be triggering with my use of the patterns, because I don't really use them in a traditional way. I don't use the 3x3, the 9 patterns in the way that you would use the path. Instead, I use it in my own unique way of kind of going, we'll kind of make it go there. I know this bit here isn't really a part of my museum, but I like to see it as a little addition because the waterfall flows down and I wanted to put something here. And I see it as an area of almost like a wishing well. I know that sounds odd, but I see it as like a little bit of a wishing well. We've got the Zen stone that goes on top eventually. We've got the stone temple lights, I can't remember what they're called, that are going around the outside, and then we've got the pattern as well, the firefly pattern, to marry everything together and make it feel quite wondrous. I say it time and time again, I love these water patterns that you can use with the game, because the water in the game, the actual, you know, dig, there's water, it can't fit around trees the way that I want it to. I want the trees to be encased by this water, and the restrictions of the game mean that you can't do that. So being able to use these patterns and have them as the way of encapsulating around areas, covering areas with just this nice wateriness, because obviously it's a swamp build at the end of the day, I think really ties everything together. It really makes you feel that everything's quite wet and boggy and swampy, but also with the items that I have around it, it feels quite magical. I think it feels magical, at least. You can tell by my frequent standing and not doing anything, there is a lot of thinking happening in some places because I'm just not sure what to do, and I like that. I like not having a specific plan of what I'm going to do, and I think that it's best to go like that when it comes to terraforming. Having an exact plan and going, I want this to happen, can be really overwhelming sometimes, and having a more organic approach to everything, having a more relaxed approach to everything can be quite nice, can be refreshing, and can be really, really relaxing. The statues in the game and the ones that they added in, especially the glowing moss statue, it glows in the dark at night. I didn't know that until I then did the aftershots for this video, and I feel like it adds a nice amount of light ambience. It's not too overwhelming, it's not too, oh my gosh, it's right there. It adds just the right amount for this, and I think it works really well. I think it looks really good. But the rest of this video is just me adding the final finishing touches, changing a few areas to add, like I say, a little bit more water for things. So I'll leave you to have a bit of a gander of what I do, and hopefully it inspires you to do something. So, the overall build, what you are here to see the final look of. I adore what I've done. I think it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. I love the vertical height of the trees and the Japanese gates. I know they've got a proper name, but I'm not going to try and butcher it because I'm not good at pronouncing things. I think it looks so good. I love the use of things dropped on the ground like I usually do with builds like this. The glowing moss, the mossiness overall, the patterns, the water, the bamboo, the gravestones, it all just ties together and adds a really nice, lovely opinion of this build. I know that's an odd word to use, but I'm using it. Using the gyroids in their green coloration, I think ties nicely to the build that I did previously, the build that I did with my hidden rock garden, which you can check out right here. I think that it looks really nice. I think that they, like I say, ties it together and adds a bit of continuity for everything. It's not just, you know, the gyroids congregate here. They travel out from the hidden garden, the hidden rock garden, and can migrate to other places, other little cute hidden places. As well, this build didn't take me that long. In total, it only took me about 3 hours, I think. I think I've edited a lot of the video down, obviously, so that you guys can see it as its final form here. On the grand scheme of things, it's not taken that long to actually terraform this area. A lot of it was filling in the actual base gap. So, like I said, when you do terraforming, shouldn't worry too much about everything being perfect. Use the organicness, use the freestyle element to just have fun. You've got to have fun with these things, otherwise you get burnt out really, really quickly. Now, while these final images are playing on the screen so that you you can see what my final build looks like in this ambient atmosphere that I've decided to set it in. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and quick little announcement, I'm going to be doing a 6-hour live stream sometime in the February half term, or at least the UK February half term. I hope that you guys come and join this, and if you have any ideas of what you want me to do, comment it down below. But regardless, I'll leave you with these final images and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!